Alright guys, it is time, our 3.0 PvP subclass tier list. So I'm going to point out a few things at first. First being that I'm not going to be taking any builds into account, like no build crafting, no exotics, no mods, nothing like that. This is just going to be the subclass itself. So for example, Omnioculus will not be taken into account when I talk about the Void Hunter. Also, I want to point out these are just my opinion. So if you disagree, that's cool. Let me know what you would change. But it's mostly going to be on like a trials tier list or a 3v3 tier list. I'm not going to go into 6v6 really because it doesn't really matter what you use in 6v6. So I'm just going to make this more so based around trials than anything else, but also it can apply to comp as well. So let's hop into it with our C tier. First up, we have the Revenant Hunter, the Stasis subclass. This subclass used to be like completely broken. We all know how good it used to be. Shatter Dive in particular was very annoying to play against, almost impossible to deal with, to be honest. It made me want to quit. So yeah, Shatter Dive used to be very good, but it has been nerfed almost into the ground. So you can maybe use it for some movement, but that's about all it has going for it now. You can run the buffed dust field grenades with the Touch of Winter aspect. Still very good. You can zone off areas. I think that's sort of the highlight of this class. The super is like a panic super, but it's not very good in my opinion. It doesn't really counter well at all. It sort of counters bubble. It's weird with bubble. I've seen it counter and not counter. Like sometimes you'll beat the bubble, sometimes it won't. It just goes away. I don't know. It's sort of funky when it comes to bubble. Not very consistent, so I wouldn't really run this if you're looking for a panic super. But overall, yeah, definitely could use some work. I don't even like Stasis personally. I think it's bad for the game, but I do have to put this in C tier. And next up, this might upset you PvE fiends out there, but I have the Sunbreaker Titan. I don't know why, but I feel like anytime people I know and anytime I see people who are PvE players, they definitely are always running Sunbreaker Titan. I don't know why, but in the Crucible, it is just not quite what it is in PvE. I do think the melee is kind of cool, like the fire anime slam melee. I don't even know what it's called, but it is pretty cool. It's fun. You can get some multi-kills with it. One of my main issues with this subclass is that the supers are good, but you don't really get them in trials. They just charge too slow. I used it for maybe 3 or 4 cards the other weekend, and I got 1 super the entire time. So just doesn't quite charge fast enough for a trials match, so it's going to be in C tier. Next up, we're going to be in B tier, and we have the Behemoth Titan, the Stasis subclass. So I really like this subclass. It is fun, but I just don't think it quite stacks up. It's a very like solo player, quick play hero type of class, if that makes any sense. I see it mostly with an SMG and a Wither Hordes. You can sort of shoot your grenade with the SMG and like get all the weird stasis buffs and overshields and all that. Definitely some synergy there, but the super is again very slow charging. You're not really going to get it in trials. It's been nerfed into the ground. The sound of the super used to just strike fear into everyone's heart in the lobby, but it is just not quite like that. So it's still going to be in B tier. Next up, and I hate to say it, but we have the ARCSTRIDER. Before the 3.0 change, I would have put ARCSTRIDER in the very top tier. The old bottom tree ARCSTRIDER was very good, but it just isn't quite what it used to be. The armor dodge, you only get it when you are amplified now. You used to just get it for free. Arc bolts used to be very good. They have been nerfed significantly. They do way less damage than they used to. There used to be all this cool synergy with the dodge and taking damage and getting your grenade. That's all gone. So there's still some things you can do though. I do like the uppercut melee. It's very good. I think it's called Tempest Strike. The super is very good now too. You get to deflect, which has always been very strong. You're pretty much unkillable in the super. You can beat any other super really. So yeah, definitely still has some stuff going for it, but I'm gonna put it in B tier. Next up, we're going to A tier, and is going to be STORMCALLER. Even though that's not such a fitting name these days. This class used to be my main, but I no longer really play it. I don't like it now. I think they kind of fumbled with this rework, mostly because like Arc Souls, like I don't know. I think this was the perfect time to get rid of Arc Souls, but instead they leaned into them. So yeah, it's an aspect now. They're just really boring. You put a rift down and you're done. They shoot stuff and they're really annoying to deal with too. Like they're not fun to play against. They're not fun to play with. I don't know. I don't like them, but alas, they're here. You do get to have landfall with your super now, no matter what, and you can blink. pretty good. The super is really good. It's hard to use, kind of. It takes some practice, but I promise if you get it down, it's a very good super. But the main reason you're going to be using this class is the aspect buffs your melee, so you can slide in melee and you will like teleport and just kill everything. That's pretty much it. You just nuke everything. I think it's going to get nerfed. It's way too strong. If there's 2 or 3 people next to each other, you'll kill all of them just for pressing the button. You can shoot like the wave frame grenade launchers at the ground. I'm sure you've seen that. It's everywhere in trials. So yeah, pretty much the melee alone puts this in A tier. Next we have the Shadebinder, the Stasis Warlock. This class I think is on the cheesier side. I do not like it. I like it, I play it. I just don't like that it exists, if that makes sense. It's just, you press the melee button, it freezes, it's a free kill. You press your rift button, it freezes, it's a free kill. So it's just kind of boring. I think it's like, it's cheesy. I mean, everyone knows it. I mean, we can say it's not, but it is. Very good though. You should definitely use it while it exists. It's probably not going to get nerfed. It's been around for so long, so you might as well use it. It's very good on like a sniper. You can freeze in close range. You can deal with that. The super is also pretty good. It's kind of slow if you're not used to using it, but it is very good. It is one of those that charges very slowly though, so you're probably not going to get too many of them in trials. But I think the freezes from the melee and everything else alone make it worth it. You can also run, I think it's called Ice Flare Bolt as an aspect, and it will chain your freeze. So you press button, get free kill, it will chain, get you another free kill. So yeah, very good, very beginner friendly too if you're struggling. So definitely give this class a go, A tier. Next up is sort of my main subclass these days, and is the Voidwalker. I already made like a whole video talking about why I like this class, so I'm just gonna keep this one short. But basically, the Void Soul is very good, the melee is very good, the super is very good. It's just, everything's good. The super charges fast enough if you run the Nova Bomb. It can also counter a well and a bubble pretty easily. The bubble is about 50-50 depending on which one you use, which Nova Bomb, but it does counter it. And it can charge just as fast, so you can still hang with the bubbles and the wells in trials. So yeah, overall, just gonna be A tier. Next up, we're going to hop into S tier, and we're going to start off with the Striker Titan, the ARC subclass. First thing I want to point out is the new dodge. I don't think it's very good. You can run it. It has some use. You can make some cool plays. I shouldn't say I don't think it's very good. I just think that the trade-off isn't worth it. You lose your barricade, and I think the barricade is just like one of the best tools you have in PvP, so I don't really think it's worth giving up the barricade to dodge, but it's definitely fun, and you can do some cool plays with it, so definitely give it a go if you haven't already. Also, the Juggernaut shield, very good. You can tank like any one bullet. I think it'll tank even like a Nighthawk Goldie. Like it'll tank anything. It tanks rockets. So if you're a shotgun player, definitely give this a go. I'm sure you've seen it in the Crucible. The main thing I want to be talking about is the aspect that buffs your grenades. You can use a storm grenade or you can use the lightning grenade and get 2 of them. Both are very solid options. I wouldn't really look at the other ones right now, at least in their current form. The storm grenade and lightning grenades are very good, so definitely run one of those. Another thing I want to point out is you can run the Missile Titan super, like the old Middle Tree, the Thunder Crash, and it charges very fast, and again it counters bubbles and wells. And I keep pointing that out because in trials they're so prevalent. If you're gonna run this subclass in trials, run Thunder Crash. Next up is going to be NIGHTSTALKER, the Void subclass. This is like my most despised subclass. All right, this is part of the reason why I don't enjoy PvP as much as I used to. It's because of Invis. I'm just gonna be honest. Void 3.0 I thought was like the perfect time to rework Invis and maybe even get rid of it, but instead they leaned into it once more, just like Arc Souls. So Invis is here, it's strong, it's here to stay, it's not going anywhere. They've nerfed it, it's not enough. Like, you get the first shot off all the time, it's too hard to see. There's a lot going on in this game. There's heavy ammo, special ammo, stasis going everywhere. Like, there's just so much going on. It's so hard to miss like a Invis hunter just walking up behind you and killing you. So especially if you're newer to the game, I think Invis is just, it's too meta defining, so this is gonna be S tier for me. Next up is the Gunslinger, the Solar Hunter subclass. This subclass is so good after the rework. I'm glad that Classy Restoration is gone. That made it a bit too much for me, but I do like it now. You can dodge and get handling, very good for a shotgun player or even like a sniper player. It's just so good for, I mean, you could always use handling. Handling is so important. It's probably the most important stat as far as like weapon stats go. You definitely want to be buffing your handling. Also, Blade Barrage charges extremely fast and it can counter bubbles and wells again. I'm going to keep pointing that out. Golden Gun is also good. You can pretty much get 3 kills at least in trials. It's pretty much a guaranteed round as well. Doesn't quite charge as fast though. But anyway, overall, very solid class. Definitely an S tier. All right, we have our final couple of subclasses here, and they're going to be an S plus tier. So first one up is Dawnblade. I mean, we all know what Dawnblade does. You can Icarus dash. It gives you the best movement in the game. You can pretty much outplay anyone with it if you use it correctly. There's always a situation where Icarus dash can give you an edge. It's just so good. But now with Solar 3.0, you can also run Well. You don't have to run the Dawnblade super. You can run the Well of Radiance. If they don't have a counter super, I've mentioned a couple of them, but if they don't have one, it is a free round win in trials. You just put it on the point and it's pretty much a win. There's not really much they can do without another super. Also, you give orbs to everyone so they can get their supers. Dawnblade is just so good, especially with Well, so S plus. And finally, we have the Void Titan as our #1 subclass in the game. And it's mostly because of the Bastion aspect. We all know what this does. You put your shield down and it just gives everyone overshield. Press button and give health, basically. You just win. You give your entire team overshields instantly and it will recharge if you go back behind the wall. Also, you can run Bubble. So again, similar to Well, you put it down on the point and it is a free win unless they can counter it. It charges very fast. You also give orbs to everyone. You get Weapons of Light. The super is just so good in trials. So at least until they sort of rework how the supers work, definitely going to be one of the best supers in the game for trials. Also, you get Controlled Demolitionist as an aspect, and that will sort of get you like some free multi-kills. Like, I think this is kind of an underrated part of the subclass, but any grenade kills will like cause people to blow up. It's gonna like spread and get some multi-kills. It's not very uncommon to throw a grenade and get like a double. It's just so good, honestly. Everything about this subclass is good. Also, the melee, you can run shoulder charge and you can dash around the map with it. And as long as you don't hit someone, you can infinitely do it. So you're one of the fastest subclasses in the game. It doesn't even make sense, but you are. Just overall, definitely what I think is the best subclass in the game. Personally, I wouldn't even load into trials without having one of them on my team. Take that as you will. Anyway, that is all I have for my tier list here. Let me know what you guys would change. I'm sure I'll have some super polite and just awesome comments down below telling me how you disagree. So let me know. As always, I appreciate all the support and I'll see you guys next time.